Now, what is Hello Kitty? Uh, yeah, that's obvious, man. If you watch that spy movie with Mike Myers, I don't know what the hell it's called, but you better believe, where is McLean, Virginia? McLean. It's not McLean. McLean, Virginia is very different, man. Uh, the CIA is nothing but a bloated bureaucracy, and the real VIP knew that a long time ago. So he created McLean, Virginia. McLean. McLean is very lean, and that's where Hello Kitty is. And I don't know how you got it in your head that you think it's cool to wake us up all the time. Yeah, I know the Negroes are into it, but it's not cool, man. It's not cool. And the real VIP told me a really nice story once, but I'm not gonna tell it right now about waking up God and all that. It's really evil too, by the way. But I'm not gonna tell that story. What we're gonna do now is just look for all the idiots that think it's a great idea to wake up the VIPs. I will tell you about Hello Kitty, man. Imagine you got a very lean CIA, but it got all the resources of a very bloated CIA. Let that sink into your head, man. I'll tell you the truth about large organizations and corporations. You take a look at our organization. Not only am I the head of marketing and sales and strategic marketing operations, but I'm the only employee. And you know, you take a large company like Exxon, for example. I don't know what their head count is, but for every you can talk to my favorite Rockefeller about this. Every employee that not in the oil fields or refineries, so put them fellas aside and those ladies aside, uh, and they go to headquarters and all that, marketing, sales, finance, operations, logistics, all that. If you cut them by 80%, 90%, I swear to God, nobody would notice, man. You take IBM, for example. You take away everyone with the title engineer of whatever sort, and the rest of the company. You could cut 90, 95% of them. Nobody would notice a difference. You take Nike Corporation. You could cut 99% of that company, and nobody would know the difference. Uh, you take, ooh, this is nice. You take NBC, CBS, all these shitty companies. If you cut the non-talent by 90-95%, nobody would know the difference. You take news broadcasting. All you need is a newscaster and some camera people. They're not telling the local news really. There's a centralized news source to give them all the news. I don't know what the hell else everybody else does, man. But why is this? In other words, why are they maintaining all this headcount they don't need? And that's a very interesting story. Um, they have to justify outrageous earnings, and they have to provide jobs for you idiots. Now, if they don't provide the jobs for you idiots, then they cannot justify their dividends, the shareholders. Now, you take, uh, it looked like Mr. Kayvon Brawley want to expand to, actually, I think Kelly Unitas, that girl, A, so classy, B, so beautiful, C, she got such nice legs, man. I think she went like Rehoboth Beach or something like that. Now, that means Melissa Patton going to want a beach. I don't know which beach to give her, but, you know, Melissa Patton is so beautiful and so, let's say, well endowed and, you know, so smart. Let's give her another beach, maybe in the Hamptons or something. But let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about Hello Kitty. This is a true story for Amy Rhodes. There used to be a bar called Liquid Kitty. If you think that's a coincidence, you're really dumb. Uh, Liquid Kitty is a spy hangout. It used to be, and the only reason to go there was to get the asset wasted. And unfortunately, I would get wasted, and my assets would end up sober. Who are my assets? Amy Rhodes, Melanie, Alex, Katie, Kate, etc. And I failed my missions for sure. Uh, yeah, Melanie, this is good for you. And am I proud of that? Frankly speaking, no. But so handsome. I'm looking at myself. I forgot to turn on the supercomputer. But you know, uh, so all these companies, all of them on the planet. You take companies like Cargill, ADM. They're going to be liquidated, man. Uh, it's just a matter of time. Uh, all you did was take the good food supply and replace it with the evil food supply that nobody likes, except for like Frito Lay and uh, Pillsbury. These companies that make too much food that's too low quality. Let's leave it at that. And these guys saying VIP index is somewhere I don't know where. I do know for a fact he's going to start writing again because he's bored. I don't know where though. And this is a nuclear detonation song. Uh, Go ahead, London. Bonsai for one. That means get ready. Melissa Patton, like Rehoboth. Yeah, that's very nice. Melissa and Kelly, I think they is actually friends. I have no firsthand experience of their friendship because when I was there, there was literally a cat fight over my affection and attention. So, maybe they is friends. Who knows? Oh yeah, forgot. But I believe Kayvon is the president of Ocean City, Maryland. Ooh, there's a Bethany Beach. I never even heard of that one. That's nice. Really, frankly speaking, I believe we should keep the ladies separate. Uh, I have too much experience about what happens when these muses have a little bit too much time together. Uh, the competition is too intense. That's it. Let's leave it at that. Now that means the Hamptons and all that is open. Uh, I'm trying to think which key muses from New York, and I don't know. But getting back to Hello Kitty, uh, what is Hello Kitty? Imagine you have all these ninjas just laying around doing nothing, and these are real ninjas, by the way, and they want missions. They want to do their thing. However, uh, they got no objective. Now, what is objective? Objective is A, B, C. Now, objective A is like a high value target. Objective B, obviously not so high. Objective C is target that if you got resources here or there spare, let's do it. And Hello Kitty never going to go after C. Selectively, they go after B, but primarily their objectives are A rated. And for A objectives, uh, there's always a very elaborate operation or whatever you want to call it. For example, let's suppose let's suppose it's me, and I have a mission, whatever, and they tell me like, we need you to do this, blah blah. There's objective A, it's so and so, and I say, maybe, maybe not. Now, why would I say maybe not? Uh, I so high up in the organization that it's possible I'll say no thanks, man. But yeah, let's suppose they say we're gonna put like 10 key muse dupes inside the objective area. Then I say, yeah, maybe. Then they say, when you leave, we're gonna nuke the objective area. Just detonate a nuke once you leave. And then I say, done deal. And anyway, that's enough of that. But it's like this. Let's suppose you got a big ass CIA, which you do. Um, and you got a budget of $1 million, and you got 1,000 people that want to share that budget. If you take 1 million and divide by 1,000, that gives you whatever, man. And I don't have time for all that right now. But then let's suppose you got $1 million budget and you got Liquid Kitty, and you got like 10 people inside Liquid Kitty. Now you got $1 million divided by 10 people. That's obviously $100,000. Don't be stupid. Everybody know that. Now, obviously, if you got $100,000 to work with, that's a lot more than the other one. Whatever that was, and that means you get to have a lot more fun. And let's look at ninjas. Ninjas come in different varieties. They got different skills. The top level ninja, their skills is what we call across the board. And they can 22, 38, car accident, lethal injection, plane crash, you name it, they can do it. Then you got the ninja apprentice. That's someone who's been a ninja and now ready to move up. That's not a starting ninja. The starting ninja typically has what's called a specialty. Sniper, knife man, knife woman, thing like that, whatever. In other words, they got one focus in the ninja program. After 3-4 years, they become the master of that. And now they're ready to move up. Now, as they move up, it's not like you think. Then they pick their second favorite skill, whatever that could be. Staging this accident, staging that, whatever. Now, the whole time, the ninja is paired up with what's called a mega creator. That's from day one. Now, the mega creator don't have one ninja. They have many ninjas. And if you ever want to see this shit going down all the time in real time, go to Cambria in California. Christy Sanchez know exactly where the hell that is. And in this town, it's basically a ninja war, man. And what does that mean? That means you got new ninjas, old ninjas, that have been around, not been around, and they're practicing, rehearsing, learning from one another. And, as they say, what happens in Cambria spreads all over the world. And this is called, technique learning and information dissemination. And, whatever information they're learning, they disseminate. And they use that dissemination to elimination, project elimination. And one by one, they eliminate the targets after they disseminate the technique that they developed. Now, Cambria is a real-time laboratory. And it has been since I don't know when, man. I don't know when. You have to ask the real CIA. If you ask me, I would say since 1998, but that don't mean nothing. That's when I learned about it. That's when I had my first experience with Cambria, and like I said, that don't mean nothing, man. And Elizabeth wants something. I don't know what. But Liquid Kitty, for example. Let's suppose I need weapons to start a war somewhere, like a skirmish, right? I make a list, on a piece of paper, and I hand it to a ninja at a bar. Now, if you're at a bar and you see this go down, you're not gonna think anything about it, man. One guy hands another guy or lady a slip of paper with some writing on it. On that writing would be like something like this: 100 47 KA. That's AK-47s. In parentheses, 50K. SA, small arms ammunition, Then pineapples, 2,000. Now, what is a pineapple? That's a grenade. Then I might say 200 straws. Now, what is a straw? That's an RPG, you know. And then I might say 10 thermoses of hot coffee, you know. Now, what is hot coffee? That's cholera. Or I might say 5 thermoses of hot tea. What's tea? Malaria. You know, on and on and on. And that's part of Liquid Kitty, man. I could go on and on about Liquid Kitty. Forget about it. But, you know, uh, all this is coming up because you like to wake me up, man. That's not nice, man. I don't wake you up. Now, everybody want me to talk about other Cambrias. You know, I might not. I'll give you two examples. One is called Occoquan. This is a tiny little place, you know, in Virginia. I do mean tiny, man. Now, how tiny? Really tiny, and you know that's on purpose. You want a tightly controlled environment, man. And I'll give you another example. Uh, you know, the wine industry is full of spies, always has been. And you got a place, you know, called Napa Valley. Everybody know about that. Now, the thing with Napa Valley is it's sprawling, and key musicians pay attention to this song, Ring Finger. And then you got shit. Now I can't find my cigarette. Then you got damn it, man. You know, Sonoma. That's also sprawling. Now, Liquid Kitty needs somewhere though. That's called Helena or something like that, California. And they got you know, the same situation over there as they got over there in the other place, Cambria. So you got Aquaquan and you got you know, the other place, Helena, whatever it's called. And same scenario. Uh, rumor is this shit been going on since World War II, but I don't know. You know, I don't know. And then you got in Florida a place called Panama City. Now Panama City is really big. However, there is a small section that is exactly like this, and there you have something called Naval Supply something agency or some shit like that. The key there is not the name of the organization, however, the initials NSA, and that's the real headquarters of the real NSA over there in Panama City, Florida, believe it or not. Now, let's suppose you had a secret agency like the NSA, which we do, and it was, in theory, highly, highly secret, which it is. What would you do? You'd create Operation Dumbo. Now, what is Dumbo? Dumbo is exactly like it sounds. You put all these people in a big fucking base called Fort Meade, Maryland. You surround it by idiot guards who are fucking trainees and pedophiles. And you put a bunch of dummy supercomputers inside there. And you put a bunch of LED screens all over the place. And you tell everyone, this is it. This is the worldwide headquarters of the NSA. And they all believe it. They're so dumb they go to work every day. And they don't even know what the hell they're looking at on these screens. But they're convinced they're geniuses, okay? Now, if you have a really top secret agency, which the VIPs do, called NSA, called VNSA, what you going to do? You're going to put it in a nondescript area, and you're going to call it something nondescript, like Naval Supply Agency, whatever the hell it's called. I don't even know what the A stands for over there. And you're going to put a bunch of buildings that look like warehouses. You're going to put a bunch of people that don't look too fancy. And they're going to go to work every day. There's not going to be big-ass LED screens. They're going to be real-time TV like this. And, they're going to have a laptop. And the laptop has something called a terminal command. The terminal command controls something called a computer, supercomputer. And that's how, this shit really works, man. And all I want to say is you really shouldn't have woke me up, man. That wasn't smart. And my whole day today is to dedicate it to kill everyone involved in waking up me. That's it. And the real VIP going to tell you a story. I don't know when. I know the story, but I don't think I'm allowed to say it. About waking up God. Like what happened when you wake up God. And it's a really good story. And if I had to give that story to anyone, I would give it to Melanie, Alex, Amy, Linda Gardner, General Geis, John Blanchard, Melissa Patton, Kelly Unitas, Tracy Copes, and maybe Katie McCroskey, and Lee Chu, and Akari, and Sparrow, and Molly, and Heidi, and Teresa Lara, and I must have all the names memorized. I know it for a fact, man. I'm not even writing this shit down. But today I'm going to write it down. And once I write it down and I have all that finalized, then I'm going to tell the story about what happens when you wake up God. It's a really good story, man. It's really good. And, that's one of those stories the VIP told me. I was like, it was like a 5-minute story. I was like, hey, man, you think you could tell that story again? And he's like, yeah, sure, man. So he told the story again. And then I heard it again. And I said, hey, man, you think you can tell that story again? Oh, Pam Golem, yeah. He said, yeah, sure. And then he told the story again. And then, we had 420 out of our mind. And then we was almost out of ice cream. I said, hey, man, you think you could tell that story again? He said, let's go get some ice cream, and I'll tell you that story on the way. So, we got in the car or whatever. We went to get ice cream. On the way, he told me that story again. And then we was inside the grocery store, Whole Foods. I said, you think you could tell me that story again? He's like, yeah, sure, man. But let's get some pizza. I said, you right, man. So then we left Whole Foods. We went to get pizza. And we went to the pizza place. And, there were some hotties there. And I got distracted. And the hotties was Melanie and Elizabeth. And then he said, hey, look who it is. I said, whoa, incredible, man. What should we do? And he said, do you want to hear that story again? And I said, what story? He said, the story you've been telling me to repeat over and over. I said, I forgot. You can't make this shit up, man. That's a really true story. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What story, man? He said, the story about, blah, blah, blah. I said, isn't that Melanie and Elizabeth? I said, maybe this is not We Get Lucky. He said, "You right. Forget the story." So anyway, then we went over there. We did as hot as we sat down, and we was baked out of our mind. And Melanie's so evil. She's like, "You idiots are stoned." I was like, "We're not." She said, "I know you're stoned." And Elizabeth started giggling. And I said, "Let's suppose, I was stoned. How would you know?" I was trying to, like, as they say, milk her for information. You know, really, I was thinking about her breast, but I don't want to get into all that right now. But I was like, let's suppose I was stoned. How would you know I was stoned? And she looked at Elizabeth and she said, "Isn't this one really, really smart? You can't make this shit up, man." And the way she said smart, her tone, I could tell she was being very, sincere. And that was very touching, very touching. And Elizabeth said, "Yeah, he's really smart. He's very special." And then the real VIP was at the counter ordering pizza. And then he comes back and Melanie says, "You're stoned, aren't you?" And he said, "Melanie, you really need to chillax on this stone thing, okay? It's not bad." And Melanie said, "I told you, when you're stoned, I don't want to be around you." And then he said, "We didn't plan this. You was here, now we're here, blah, blah." And she said, "So let me get this straight. As always, you got stoned and then you came for pizza." And he said, "Yes." Anyway, then we sat down, we had some pizza. Then some celebrities showed up. I don't know who. And then Elizabeth said, "Isn't that so and so?" I said, "Yeah, I think it is." And the celebrities want to call out. And I don't know who it was, man. I want to say it was that guy, Mr. Seth Rogaine or whatever the fuck that guy's name is, owns that balding hair empire drug, Rogaine or whatever his name is. Uh, but I'm not positive. And then, some hottie celebrity showed up. I don't know who it was, man. And then, anyway, then I was talking to Melanie and Elizabeth, and then I was just, as they say, fixated on their upper body requirements. I always forget about Christy Marcella, man. I feel guilty about that. Oh yeah, getting back to that story about waking up God. So then I said, we had pizza with those girls, and then we went out for drinks, and I was convinced, this was not. I was going to get lucky with both of them, and I said the real VIP, what if we relax the do not touch requirement tonight? And he said, "Tonight you have a waiver. If you can touch it, you can have it." I said, "Get the hell out of here." He said, "No, I'm serious, man." And then I said, "Is you going to kill me or anything like that?" He said, "No, man, you good to go." I said, "Sweet, man." So we went to the wine bar, and I sat, in his usual spot, which is between the two muses. And the muses got up, and they paid me the highest compliment because when I tell a story, everybody want to look at me when I tell a story. So they got up and they sat next to him across from me, and I knew right away they wanted to hear me talk about myself. So I started talking about myself. And then Elizabeth does this very sexy thing when I tell stories with her eyes. She rolls her eyes, and when she rolled her eyes, I know she's like very excited about my story. And then Melanie looked at me, and she does this thing with her breathing. It's like a big, like she takes a huge breath and lets it out, like, you know. And when she's doing that, I know she want to hear more and more about my stories. And the night was going, as they say, swimmingly. Let's leave it at that.